You are listening to the Life in Attleboro podcast, where we interview the city's most interesting people who are making a positive difference in our community. Hey everyone, I'm the host of the Life in Attleboro podcast, Mike Sullivan. There's an important program that can help save lives, and it's offered to every single high school freshman here in Attleboro. It's called Heart Safe School, and it's equipping young people with the skills to make a difference when every second counts. Enjoy episode 44 of the Life in Attleboro podcast. Okay, joining me now is Corey Blais. Corey is a lieutenant with the Attleboro Fire Dept. Lieutenant Blais, thanks so much for being a guest on the Life in Attleboro podcast.
Oh, thanks so much for having me. I appreciate being here.
Likewise, sir. So we have a very important topic to cover today. Lieutenant Blais, you play a very important role in the Heart Safe School program in our city. The program is actually celebrating its 10th year in existence. So, Lieutenant Blais, can you please share what the Heart Safe School program is all about?
Yeah, so basically what we do for this Heart Safe School program is we try to bring more awareness to the public as much as we can about CPR, AED use, call 911. And we came up with the idea of where can we get access to the most people in the shortest amount of time? So we decided, you know what, the schools. So we made a program, had a couple pilots for it, reached out to the schools. So now we teach all the freshmen basically CPR, AED use, and 911, how to call it. We take the 4.5-hour CPR program and we grab all the meats and potatoes, we'll call it, and jam it into a 45-minute to an hour class.
Okay. Excellent. So is this a mandatory program for all freshmen?
It's not a mandatory here.
Okay.
But in the country, it's mandatory in 40 states.
Wow.
Massachusetts is not one of them, though.
Okay, perfect. So how long, I think you just answered this, but how long is the training process? Is this a one-day commitment, or is it over the course of a few weeks type thing? What's that look like?
Yeah, so each student, it's a one-day commitment. If anyone knows how the high school schedule works, they're about an hour and 20-minute block classes. So we try to get all in one day for each student.
Okay. And then after the students complete the program, are they officially certified in CPR, AED use, and choking response?
So what we're doing, actually, we're just doing like hands-only CPR and AED. We're not certifying.
Okay.
Because with certification, it becomes like logistical, and it would cost right around $15,000 a year to certify everybody. Gotcha. And then it only lasts 2 years. So then they would be juniors, and then it would be expired. So the end of the day, everyone's going to know how to do CPR, and that's really what the important thing is.
Amen. So do you know of any instances when a student has had to put their training into any real-life experiences?
I know there's been a couple stories in the Sun Chronicle about at Bliss Brothers, they'll do the Heimlich maneuver. I heard that one before. I haven't encountered anything personally, but I know if you listen to the news long enough, you hear stories out there about people saying they've learned CPR in schools. It's such a hard measure to try to track.
Absolutely. It is a worthy program for sure. So Speaking of the program, what are some of the goals of this program?
Yeah, so some of the goals, obviously, is the more people that know CPR, the better. So there's a chain of survival. There's 4 chains to it. Number 1 is recognize the emergency and call 911, early CPR, and AED use. Those 3 things right there, the public can do on their own without the help of anyone else. So we're trying to push that. Those are very important. And the 4th thing is advanced life support, which would be the paramedics. So our goal is to let people know, recognize an emergency, call 911, get the paramedics on the way, do CPR, and use an AED if you can do it. And that there like triples the chances of survival.
Yeah. So a lot of people might have a fear of doing it wrong. Can you touch on that a little bit?
Yeah. So in class, a lot of people say, well, what if I'm doing it wrong? And the way we put it is, this is a person in cardiac arrest. This is the worst case scenario. We're not going to make the situation any worse. So as long as you're doing some sort of CPR and we're getting the blood flowing, it's better than doing nothing.
Absolutely. This is just coming to my head right now as we talk, Lieutenant, but I went down to DC with my wife for one of my best friend's weddings. And the day after the wedding, we were all getting ready to go to a Nationals baseball game. And the bride and the groom were like half a block down from the hotel. We were just walking out the door. And all of a sudden, he collapses to the ground. Now, he's had heart issues in the past. He's got a pacemaker and everything. But my best friend just happens to be a lieutenant in Western Mass at one of the police departments out there. And we ran over to him, and my best friend just started doing CPR on him because he was not breathing. He was turning bluish, grayish. And his brand new wife is just like shrieking in fear. And all I could do was just put my hand on her shoulder as she was just saying, please don't end like this. And I literally watched my best friend save my other best friend's life. And I was so thankful that we were there with this right place, right time. And you talk about anyone can learn this. He's a lieutenant in the police department, but any of us can learn this. And something like that can happen. God bless you guys for running this program. It is huge and it is life-saving. So thank you. Lieutenant Blais, you shared some stats with me before our interview today. So I'm going to read these for the audience. More than 350,000 sudden cardiac arrests happen annually in the U.S. 75% of those occur at home, meaning victims are often loved ones. And only 40% receive bystander CPR, but immediate CPR and AED use, as you mentioned, can triple survival chances. For people listening right now who hear those stats and now feel inspired and motivated to learn CPR, AED use, and choking response, how can they get certified here in Attleboro?
So if you want to get certified, there's a process you can go through. Red Cross has their own, or American Heart Association. So you can go to their websites, and they'll be, depending on who is associated with that nonprofit, they'll have classes to get certified. The YMCA puts on a few classes a year. The fire department ourselves, we do not, because we're not an educational institute.
Okay.
But if you call the fire department or email, they can definitely get you the information. But it's about $40 to $50 to get certified, and it lasts about 2 years.
Perfect. I was just going to ask what the cost is, so thank you for touching on that. So if and when the time comes for someone to perform CPR while first responders are rushing to the scene, what's the number one thing people should remember and put into practice?
Number one thing is stay calm. So a lot of times when, I always say, people are like, oh, you're so calm when stuff happens. I've been doing this for almost 20 years, so it just becomes second nature. Sure. So if you're not used to it, just big important thing is just stay calm. Make sure you call 911 so help's on the way, and just get involved. Because if you're not trained, and some people might do one thing and forget the other thing. Right. So if you have multiple people and you're like, did someone call 911? Oh, we forgot to call 911. Now, all right, we'll get that step. Did someone look for an AED? Then that person can go look for an AED. So is there some truth to this? So if a scenario like that, if someone's taking the lead, if you will, instead of shouting out, someone call 911, is it better to appoint someone to do that? Like literally point and say, you call 911 for me? 100%. And that's one thing I say in the freshman class when I teach it. I said, it's going to sound weird for you guys, but one of you has to be the boss.
Right.
And you might be 14 or 15 years old, and there's 40-year-old guys there. It just might be you take charge, because tap with someone, you call 911, you get the AD, you do CPR. Because what happens is if you're in a room, and you say, someone call 911.
Nobody's going to call 911.
Everyone's natural reaction is, oh, someone else must have did it.
Exactly.
So it doesn't really happen. But someone really should be taking charge.
Excellent. Okay, thank you for that, Lieutenant. So choking. So what if someone is choking? And I will share that I am certified currently in CPR, AED use, and choking response. It was a program offered at work, and I took advantage of it mainly because I have small children and the experience that I just shared with you as well. I want to make sure I am. But I also tend to, when it comes to fight or flight, I have noticed a few times that it's come to that, I tend to run to try and help people, which is a good instinct that I'm happy that I have. But when someone is choking, what can someone do when every second counts?
So when someone's choking, basically the universal sign for choking when someone, they're going to have their hands around their throat. And it sounds cliche, but they're actually trying to almost move the object, and that's why they're doing that. So what you're going to experience is that their neck's going to turn purple, the lips are going to turn purple and blue. And first thing you want to do is ask them to cough. So if they can cough and they're moving enough air that you don't want to do the Heimlich just yet, because the paramedics have less invasive things that we could do to get the object out.
Okay.
But if they can't cough and they're not making any noise, basically just do the Heimlich. We've all seen it on TV. Wrap your arms around them, make fists, put it right where their belly button is, and bring it in and upwards. Good. Until the object comes out.
Excellent. So let's talk AEDs now. This is huge. The life-saving devices have been installed at several locations here in the city, with plans to add even more at public places. Can you please share where some of those AEDs are currently located right now and where they soon might end up thanks to a nonprofit called Sisters at Heart?
Yeah, so Sisters at Heart, they have some AEDs in North Attleboro. Now they've moved into Attleboro, and they gave us 7. Okay. 3 of them are installed. They're at Ponson Hewitt, Hayward Field, and Tilda B. Stone, which for guys that have been in town for a long time is Dodgeville Field. Yes. I didn't know it was Tilda B. Stone until I put the AED there. I was like, what is this field?
That's where the kids play soccer. Yep.
Yeah, so for the residents, that's Dodgeville Field.
Yes.
So there's 3 there that are active and ready to go. They're in a yellow box, and they have a key code on them. So if you do see an emergency, you call 911, and the dispatchers will give you the code to unlock the AED.
Excellent.
And then they're adding 4 more: Lees Pond, Capron Pond, Highland Park, and Horton Field, which is the field next to the train tracks on Starkey Ave. And really the reason why the first three were chosen, just the infrastructure was there. There's electricity in places to mount them. The other fields, they're going to have to dig some holes and get like electricity and wires in and actually get them secured.
Excellent. So when it comes to the Heart Safe School program, I understand making this program come to life was a team effort. This amazing effort certainly takes time, money, resources. Would you like to share some of the sponsors and contributors with our listeners?
Yeah, absolutely. So actually, how it actually came about was we went to a cardiac arrest at a department store when I was very young in my career, a couple of us, and then there's probably 15 people just standing in a circle watching, and no one was doing anything. You had that moment where you're like, I can either sit here and complain about it, or we can do something about it. So that's when we started the program. But with that, it's like, where do you start? So we came up with, all right, we're not going to certify. We're going to teach, basically hands-on CPR. We came with a slideshow, essentially. We did a couple test pilot programs with just community members and some students, what works, what didn't work. And we got a program to all right, this might actually work. So then it's like, how do we get into the schools? I had no idea. Yeah. I'm not an educator by any means. Just reached out to our state rep. It was Senator Ross at the time, and then State Rep Haro, who then became mayor and now is sheriff. Yeah. And he basically just signed off on it, so it gave the program some legitimacy. So when you actually present it to the schools, okay, you're not just some random person trying to teach in the school. This has been approved by someone.
Gotcha. So you said you're not an educator by any means, but you're certainly a lifesaver. Lieutenant, how long have you been with the Attleboro Fire Department?
Yeah, I've been with Attleboro going on 16 years in November.
Amazing. Thank you.
I've been a paramedic since 2008.
Awesome. Thank you for your service, sir. We appreciate it. Lieutenant Blais, what are the future goals and mission of this amazing program that you're sharing with us today?
So obviously the future is we're going to keep getting more people involved, and then try to move it into community-based as well.
Okay.
So then we'll teach all the freshmen, and then we'll have a few community classes throughout the year so that community members who maybe haven't been in school for the last 10 years have the opportunity to get some free training.
Excellent. And that would be the same 45-minute hands-on training.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So we're just trying to get to all the meat and potatoes, just the important stuff, so everyone just knows what to do in an emergency.
So if someone's listening to the podcast right now and they're like, I want to help grow this program, or I want to be involved in it somehow, is there an opportunity for that to happen?
So obviously keep an eye out if there's any programs, come to them.
Okay.
Learn CPR, learn how to use the AED. But outside of that, the program, it costs money to run. So the local 848, which is the firefighters union, will take any donations. And if you put in the donation school CPR or community CPR, all that money will go directly to that for buying equipment and mannequins and stuff like that.
Is there a link that you'd be able to share that people can donate to, or is it an in-person donation?
You could mail checks to local 848 at the fire department, which is 100 Union Street in Attleboro, or Venmo.
Okay.
Our Venmo is local-848.
Perfect.
When you pull it up on Venmo, we'll have the IAFF, the red and white Maltese cross.
Gotcha. And for our listeners, I'll include that link in the email and the show notes of this episode. Lieutenant Blais, is there anything else that you would like the people of Attleboro to know about this amazing program?
Yeah, so even if you don't have access to go to the class or anything else, we know we live in a world now where we have information everywhere. There are numerous videos from completely serious to fun on YouTube on just how to do CPR and information about that. So anyone can just go on there. So you might be the difference between, someone knows what to do or nobody knows what to do.
Amen. Can't stress that enough and share that feeling with you. It is worth learning the life-saving skill for sure. Lieutenant Blais with the Attleboro Fire Department and a key member of implementing the Heart Safe School program here in our city. Thank you so much for sharing such valuable and life-saving information. I really appreciate it, sir.
Oh, no problem. Thank you so much for having me.
Again, I'd like to thank Lieutenant Blais for sharing some important information and letting us know about the important program offered at the high school. And if this episode inspired you to get certified in CPR, I've included the links to available programs right here in Attleboro. You can find them in the show notes of this episode. Hey, I want to tell you about our new sponsor, Hoban Accounting Services. If you're a small business owner, you know how much of a hassle it can be to keep track of every penny earned and every penny spent. But thankfully, Hoban Accounting Services is on a mission to heal your headaches and fizzle your frustration when it comes to crunching those pesky numbers. Hoban Accounting Services has helped local businesses for more than 7 years, That's when Nicole Hoban, a proud mother of twin girls, launched her business. She's a QuickBooks Pro advisor with tons of awards to her name. If you mention the Life in Attleboro podcast, you'll get 10% off for your first 6 months. If you'd like to support a small business owner in our city, just tap the link in the show notes of this episode and Nicole will be in touch. Hoban Accounting Services. A great bookkeeper should be an asset, not an expense. Have you signed up for the Life in Attleboro email list? We send one email each Friday. It includes exclusive offers from our sponsors, early access to every new podcast episode, and you'll stay in the know about cool events in our great city. Just go to lifeinattleboro.com and you'll see the sign-up display right there on the homepage. You'll also see the sign-up button at the top of our Life in Attleboro Facebook page. And if you know someone who would make a great guest on our podcast, shoot us an email at lifeinattleboro@gmail.com. Life in Attleboro is a great thing. Support our community, promote positivity, and make a stranger smile. Have a great day, and we'll see you in the next episode of the Life in Attleboro podcast.